So for number 69, the book says it's B, but I don't know why. Because don't you just go x plus 1 equals 0?
Only if it's x plus 1 in parentheses. If it's just x, it's 0.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I'll help you as soon as I get done teaching. All right, guys, we're going to get started.
Hey, St. Olaf, isn't that where the meets are held across the country?
Yeah, that's where my daughter goes.
Yikes.
Bro, you're gonna drink all that water.
Good job, Kelsey.
Damn.
Did you send
I
that?
need
Yeah.
Jordan, he's not here today?
Nice.
Who am I supposed to
Hey,
pick
can I have a
up?
bottle back, please?
What did Peter do?
You put pencils in
What?
Got a poisonous
You trying to poison me?
No, I gotta grab it. Put it
Good.
You shove it.
Now I gotta
Well,
grab it.
I mean, you got
Okay,
it.
I
thought
thought
your water trying to poison me. I'll go willingly.
I'm thinking that I gotta, I think that I gotta put something on the daily.
Yo, what if someone poisoned the whole school?
And
That's why nobody's here today.
Yeah.
How do you guys call this no one here?
This class is.
This is one of my.
My science
had-
Yeah, my science had 9 people. My first class had 9 people.
Yeah, my shower
My
has.
This is
second hour,
easiest, the
6
biggest,
people.
this is easiest, the biggest goose.
Peter, you dropped your pencil. You have to walk it over.
Easiest.
I'm sorry, I'm not little.
Second hour had
Pussy
11.
and scared of being shot.
3rd hour 13.
Who's
gonna draw Captain America's shield on one of those whiteboards?
Yeah. Needs to go on.
Yes.
Needs to go on.
There.
No.
It needs to. It needs to.
Just put it on, everybody's gonna play on random stuff.
Mine's greater,
It's gotta go on.
Mine's still on there.
Watch right past it.
There
There are no notes on my desk. They're not the same here. Okay, I need one. You get those. I need one. Those.
Ms. Bond, we never got the note.
Bro, you only gave us the. That was very great.
I know, but yours is straight now, so.
Peter, check the daily dose.
Okay, Andy, how about this?
Well, what is that? Oh, that's a. Hey, really, you got.
Yo, Botton, you're gonna fill my folder before the try even starts.
Okay, and do you have this one?
Well, I could not teach and see how you do on your own. How would you like that?
I would love that. I don't think, you know what I don't understand? So why teachers don't let us use our resources.
Yes.
No, really?
Boss, I did it
We're
right.
gonna do a problem? What are we supposed to
Anybody
do?
else
Just
need a
sit there and
calculator?
think about it?
Actually,
No, we gotta find.
you
our
will want a
solution.
calculator today.
What do I do?
It doesn't necessarily have to be graphing, but you will want one.
Yeah, get her done.
Slater work now?
I found it.
No, it doesn't.
Kelsey, if you make sure you use the whole graph.
No.
Yes.
What's the one I always use down?
Which one?
The one that I always use, somebody took it already.
Oh, God.
I gotta do these graphs.
Sir, number 10 is complete.
I'll walk it.
We'll meet in the middle. I finished the problem. We'll meet it right here, right next to Caleb.
Okay, no, 25 feet.
That's an even walk.
Why did you be negative?
Okay.
Why do you
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I'm having some technical difficulties, so, on Smartboard, I can't save anything, and I tried, like, I made a ton of changes to this today, and then it didn't save, and so I pulled up like a middle of the day kind of version, so mine is gonna be a little bit different than yours. Okay, but we're still gonna try to go ahead and do this.
We're gonna make it work.
So, thank you. All right, so the first thing we are gonna do is learn change of base formula. And we're gonna go from an exponential function to a logarithmic function. And then we are going to use change of base formula, okay? So if you look at this right now is in exponential form. So what we're gonna do is go log, and base, do you remember how the base goes here? The X goes over here and the number goes here? Does everybody remember doing that the other day? So like if you did that, the loop 4 to the X equals this. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, now, I have to grade you on work on this because those of you that have a calculator that's the CE, you could just punch this into your calculator using that, you know, math down to A.
Yep.
And then people that don't have a CE can't do that. So what I'm gonna do is, because I want you to learn this change of base formula, I'm gonna make you show the work on this, like on the quiz, and I'm gonna give you like 2 points for the work, 2 points for the answer, okay? So when you're doing this, to use change of base, what you would have to do is go log of this number, okay? 262,144 divided by log of the base. Okay, and then if we go to the calculator,
How do we put that in? Just so much fun.
isn't it? All right, and then if we go to our calculator and type that in. So what I was saying, like those of you that have the CE, you guys could use that math down to log, and you could kind of check your answer.
Right there.
Just scrap it.
Well, I'm kind of waiting. Okay. So I went to Smart Market and they had some really documents, and I just picked one of those. But what I'm noticing, I can't save on, I can't save my stuff. Okay. Does that seem?
That doesn't seem right. Well, when you're done teaching them, just text me and I'll put it on the sheet of the saving around.
Okay. Or do you have to do it now? I'm gonna just wait.
Well, I'll read through some research.
Okay, sounds good.
Have a good day.
All right. Okay, so
No.
if we go second quiz, so this part you don't need to be into y equals. So did you guys all catch, if you ever want to get out of the graphing part, hit second mode and that quits it. So now if you were doing this, we would go log of 262,144 parenthesis divided by log 4. And did you guys get 9?
Yeah. I got 9.
Okay. And they don't always, I think the way I set this up, you're gonna get whole numbers, but they don't have to be that way. Okay, so let's skip down and do this one. This one you would have log. What would go down here?
27.
The 7, oh, I'm skipping down to C, sorry.
Oh, my bad.
7 to the what? This would be X.
2004.
This would be 2401, okay? So here's what we are going to do. We're gonna go log, and you take this number on top over log of this number on the bottom. Okay, so if I go to my calculator and do that, I'd go log of 2401, parenthesis, don't forget the parenthesis, divided by log of 7, and did you get 4? Okay. Do you all understand how to do that? Are we good? All right, so X is 4. And like I said, the way I set them up on your worksheet and the way I set them up here, they're a whole number, but they don't have to be. And I should tell you guys too, if I get through this whole thing today, we'll see how it goes. If I do, my plan is to give you a quiz on Tuesday. If we don't, then I'd push it to Wednesday. So we'll see how today goes. All right, so we're gonna learn some properties of logs that is very important, okay?
There would.
And what it is how to either condense a log or they call it expand a log. When you're taking a log that has a product or multiplication, and you have to expand that, to get rid of the product of a logarithm, you take it and you separate it and you add the two together. So this is actually m times n. So what you would do is go log base b of m plus log base b of n. Okay? So if you're trying to solve it and you can't with the multiplication and you have to switch it to spreading it apart, when you have multiplication, you make it to be addition. On the opposite of that, if you have something that's divided and you need to separate it, what you do to separate division is subtraction. So to separate this, you'd go log base b of m minus log base b of n. Okay, so when it's multiplication, we separate and add. When it's division, we separate and subtract. Now, another thing that's going to happen a lot in logs is if you ever get something like this, log base 4 of x squared, okay, and they ask you to, sometimes you have to move things around to be able to solve it, you can always take this power and multiply it in front, and then you no longer have a power, okay? So if you had log base 7 of x to the third, you can bring that 3 down in front, and it's no longer here, okay? You also can do the opposite. Sometimes today you'll see it where we need to get rid of the 3 in front, and how we do that is we make it a power. Okay, those 3 are super important. If it's division, you separate and subtract. If it's multiplication, you separate and add. If it's a power, you bring the power out front. Okay, these right here, we're not really going to use too much. If you're taking the log of 1, no matter what your base is, it's 0. If you ever had something like log base 21 of 21, where these two are the same, okay, automatically it's 1. This could even be log base b of b, and it would be 1. And then I don't really use these two very much. If these two are the same and it's to a power, so if you had log base 8 of 8 squared, okay? If these two are the same and you have a power, it's like you can ignore all of this and have it equal 2, but we don't really do that one. And I never use this one at this point. So we don't even really use these two very much, but I would be concerned about those 3. Do you guys feel like you understand those 3? Yes, no.
You still get no cards, no quizzes and stuff?
Yes, I handed you guys a formula sheet, and you will use that on your quizzes, but you'll have to hand it in the day of the quiz, and then I'll hand it back to you. Okay? All right. So let's go through this. They want us to, again, not use our calculators and use that log thing, math down to log, and actually use the fact that you know what log base 12 of 3 is, and you know what log base 12 of 7 is to find this. And on the quiz, again, I'd have to actually check your work to prevent those kids that have a CE calculator to just punch it in, okay? So what you want to do is you want to look at this 21, and you just want to think between 3 and 7, how do I get 21?
7
times it, right? So this is really log base 12 of 7 times 3, okay? And what did I say you can do to expand it?
We have log base of 5, 3, and log base of 5, 4.
Yeah, that's gonna stink. Let's do this. Can you guys ignore?
You finish the right log, 12.1.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I should change it. I'll change mine. Okay?
Alright.
This was log base 5, right? Of 3, was it?
3
Equals,
0.6826.
okay? And then this one was log base 5 of 8. Say that again?
0.8614.
Okay. This is going to end up being really sloppy. So this actually should say log base 5 of 12, correct? Okay. Sorry about that. So like I said, I just switched some things around today, and so mine is going to look a little different. So what we would do with this one, if it's 12 and our numbers are 3 and 4, isn't 3 times 4 12? So we would write this as log base 5 of 3 times 4. And then what we would do is take that and we'd separate it. And what did I say you would do to separate that if it's multiplied? Add. Okay, so we'd go log base 5 of 3 plus log base 5 of 4. Okay, now we're pretending that we don't have a calculator, that we can't use a log function on our calculators. And so what I'd have to do then is get this value from right here that I was given. So this would be 0.6826, and this would be 0.8614. They were given to you in the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So do you guys understand that? Do you understand how come I added them? Everybody get that? Okay. Now when you add those two together, did anyone do that? 1.544. Thank you. Okay. Now let's try this next one. So the next one is 49. Oh, no. 5 and 16. Okay. So this one is 16. How could I get 16? 4 times 4, or I'm going to write it as 4 squared.
No.
Do you guys get that? Okay. I could have done 4 times 4 also. That would have worked, but I want to do a squared one. So I could get 16 by 4 squared. And how do I get rid of that 2? You bring it out front, right? And so what I'd have is 2 times log base 5 of 4. Okay. Now I'm going to go 2 times log base 5 of 4 is right here. It's 0.8614. And if I just go 2 times that, okay, thank you. All right, now think about this. How would we get 63 for, oh yeah, sorry.
Number's so low.
There's supposed to be numbers that you can easily get from a 3 and a 4.
No, like the answer, it doesn't seem like.
Oh, it's because it's a logarithm. You're gonna have,
Well, the 3 now.
you're gonna have lower numbers. Okay, 12 and a 3, but can we get a 12 anywhere?
No, we should get it now. Get a 9 and 4.
A 9 and a 4, because what is 9? 9 is really 3 squared, right? Do you guys get that? So I could write this as log base 5 of 3 squared times 4, okay? Now I'm going to separate those, and I'm going to go log base 5 of 3 squared. And how do I separate multiplication?
Plus.
Plus. Log base 5 of 4. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that 2 out front. Okay, because that's one of our, it's called your power property. And I'm going to go 2 times log base 5 of 3 plus log base 5 of 4. Now, up above, they told you what log base 5 of 3 is. It's 0.6826. And log base 5 of 4 is 0.8614. Say that one more time.
2.2266. 2.227.
That's what yours says?
That's
Or
right.
you just rounded it? Okay, so let's look at this. Take these individually. How would I get 81?
It's
69.
Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting. So this is 5, this is 16, this is 9. So if we have log base 5, how do I get 16? 4 squared. How do I get 9? 3 squared. Okay. Now I want to separate that. How do you separate division? When I would put that away if I did.
Oh, sorry.
We subtract. So we would go log base 5 of 4 squared, subtract log base 5 of 3 squared. Okay. And then what do you do to get rid of those squares? Put the 2's in the front. Okay. So we get 2 log base 5 of 4 minus 2 times log base 5 of 3. Okay. So what we would get then is 2 log base 5 of 4 is 0.8614 minus 2 times log base 5 of 3 is 0.6826. And then when I punch that in, what do I get?
3.26.
3 point what?
Okay, I was doing it. Oh, yeah, I did have it.
0.3576.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Okay, we're gonna do just
One.
Did you have another one on that page?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So E was log base 5 of 0.75. Okay, so how do we get 0.75? 3 divided by 4. So log base 5 of 3 divided by 4 would be log base 5 of 3. And then how do I separate it? Subtract log base 5 of 4. Okay, now log base 5 of 3 is 0.6826 minus log base 5 of 4 is 0.8614. And then what do you guys get?
Negative 0.178.
Okay. So we're gonna just get rid of that page. I think I'm just gonna talk about this super quick and maybe do like 1 or 2, and then we'll finish it on Monday. Quiz will be on Wednesday. Okay? All right. So the next thing that we're gonna do is they're going to give you a logarithmic equation, and you have to solve it. And what's gonna happen, do you guys remember last week when we would get like 2 to the x equals 2 to the 5th? Do you remember if the exponent's base?
I was trying to figure out why.
Okay, so 2 to the x equals 2 to the 5th. If these two bases are equal, that makes these powers equal. The same thing is true if you get like log base 5 of x equals log base 5 of 12, let's say. If you can ever get something down where this equals this, just like we forgot about the x's up here, we can forget about the log base 5 and just set these two equal, okay? And how you do that is using the products we just did, but instead of separating them, we're gonna combine them. It's called condensing logs, okay? So do you see how this one right now has 2 logs, but they're added? How do you think you can put them together if they're added?
Multiply.
You would multiply them. You'd only put 1 log base 2, and this time you put them together and you would take x times x minus 4.
Why does math have to bring logs?
I know. But actually, I'm telling you, on your ACT, you're going to see this. You will. Yes. Okay. Then when you look at this, you guys, we have to figure out how can we solve this. And if you notice, this one is 1. I kind of jumped the gun showing you this. This is in logarithmic form, and to solve this, when you have a log on one side and a number on the other side, do you remember how to solve that? You take this to this power and set it equal to this, doing that log loop. So they kind of switched it. I personally would have wrote this as 2 to the 5th equals x squared minus 4x. And what they did here is they just distributed this, okay? Now, what is 2 to the 5th power? Do you guys know? It's 32. And now we have to factor that. Every time you get an x squared, an x, and a constant, you bring that number over to the other side. Do you guys get when I bring a 32 to the other side, if it's positive here, it would be negative over here? So you would get 0 equals x squared minus 4x minus 32. Now, are you guys good at factoring trinomials?
Yeah, not if there's a number in front of the x.
Not if there's a number in
Then
front of
I'm
the
not
x?
good at it. Some
Okay.
people might know, but I don't.
Okay, it is harder when there's a number in front. There is a shortcut. I did this, I'll show you guys this really quick. If you are trying to factor x squared minus 4x minus 32, if you are not good at this, maybe this will help. This is how I showed my regular Algebra 2 kids. You can make a box.
No, not this.
Not possible.
I want to hear it.
Just give me a chance. Just give me a chance. Whatever is here
I know what
goes here,
trinomial is now.
okay? Whatever is here goes
That's 8
here,
times 4.
okay? And over here I have this thing, and I'll say, I want to find factors. This is something I added to my notes today, and it might be on yours. Factors of negative 32 that add up to negative 4, okay? So can you guys think of 2 factors that multiply to give you a negative 32, and when you add them, it gives you a negative 4?
Negative 8 and 4.
Positive 8 and negative 4.
No,
No way
wrong.
around calculator.
Yep, so negative 8 times a positive 4.
You know what I
Do you
should write
guys
right
get
now?
that? Negative 8 times 4 is
And that.
negative 32. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4. Do you guys get that? Okay. Now, once you have these 2, okay, I would put one of them in one spot with an X and the other one here with an X. Okay, if that was a P, you'd put them each with a P. Then to find your factors, what you do is this. The only way I can get x squared is x times x. And then I ask myself, what times x gives me negative 8x? That's negative 8. X times what gives me 4x? That's 4. And negative 8 times 4 does give us negative 32. So your factors would be x minus 8 and x plus 4.
Oh, wait, this stuff, so it's literally
easy.
the whole, oh, I remember this stuff. This
We
is-
So
do
like-
it this way, Ms. Bot.
You don't have to do it.
Can you give us less answers, less questions on the only?
Yeah.
One thing I am going to tell you guys, if you don't know how to factor a trinomial, you're going to be hurting when you go on.
Well,
how do you- Well, okay.
And I'm not saying like, I will get you to factor trinomials. You need to be able,
Ms. Broad.
Well,
Does
if you
that
say
also
factor
work
this,
when there's a number in
I would
front of
know
the
actually.
x?
Okay,
But if
good
you say
question.
Factor
That's the
this
big problem.
trinomial,
that's a good
Because
question.
otherwise I know you just gotta find what adds and multiplies to get those, but when there's a number in front, that's a whole different.
Let me make one
That's a
up.
whole different game, that's a whole different. What's it a whole different? Oh, something right. It is a whole different vibe.
you.
But can we just finish this example and then do the assignment?
Owen, remember we talked about the fact that I don't
I'm not
ask you?
complaining, I just asked.
I'll make that decision, okay? And by you asking me, it's not gonna
I
help.
mean, I just asked.
Okay, so let's answer this, you guys, because when I teach on Monday, we do need to know how to factor a trinomial. And so this is a trinomial that has a number in front. And like we were saying, that is harder. You can still do it with the box. So the 2x squared would go here. The negative 12 would go here. The only difference is, you know, here where I have factors of, instead of just bringing the negative 12 here, you multiply these two and it would be negative 24. That's the only difference. And then this would still be add up to a positive 5. Okay? So what are two factors of negative 24 that give you a positive 5?
24 and what, no?
8 and negative 3.
8 times a negative 3. Is that true? Right? So now what you do is you put one of them here with an x and one of them here with an x. Okay? Now, there's only one way to get 2x squared. Do you get it? Would have to be like, actually, I'm going to put my 2x here. The reason I know to put my 2x here, 2 goes into 2 and 2 goes into 8. If I put my 2 up here, 2 does go into 2, but 2 doesn't go into negative 3.
You times it by 1.5.
So this up here is going to be my x. So do you guys understand that, what I was just saying? So the only way to get 2x squared is x times 2x. Okay? The reason I knew to put the 2 here is because 2 goes into 2 and 2 goes into 8. If I put my 2 up here, 2 does go into 2, but it doesn't go into 3. Okay? Now what would I put here? What times 2x is 8x? 4. X times what gives you negative 3x? Negative 3. 4 times a negative 3 is that negative 12. Yeah. So now you have it factored. It's x plus 4 times 2x minus 3. Do you get that? And once you get good at it, like you just put them in and you kind of do it. Like did Mr. Seifert teach you like these two multiplied plus those two multiplied have to give you the middle term?
Yeah.
So once you get good at it.
No, I didn't learn anything in that class.
Once you get good at it, you probably will not, I mean, unless, like my son, Chase, he learned the box method from Mrs. Dowd in middle school. And through
She's very
college
doubtful.
calc, he used this way. So some people might stick with that. So what do you guys think? Should we stop here and finish on Monday?
Yes,
So, the only deal I say is you have to be quiet. And I
She
don't
looked
know.
right at me.
And you have to, I can't look at many people at one time. So there's going to be no homework, but you have to be quiet the rest of the day.
I have to finish my homework from yesterday. You didn't hear that.
Hurry. So Laura, we're gonna continue on with this on Monday, okay?
Okay.
Are you gonna be back Monday?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, perfect. We'll see you then. No assignment today.
Really?
Right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.